the next stage of disloyalty, or the next traitorous trait. Because guess what? There's certain traits or attributes that brothers and sisters possess and display before they just completely bug out. They don't just wake up and bug out. No, it's over a period of time. It's the passive stage. When a brother or a sister starts to pull back from the work, they refuse to do their duties, or they have a "you'll fall without me" attitude. Guess what? We've had brothers make that statement almost to the T. That's almost verbatim. You don't think they don't think that the Lord built this, that the Lord put the Spirit on the leadership, the bishops and the deacons, to help build and establish the body internationally on both sides of the earth. They don't think, no, it's about them. We'll fall without them. This is the passive stage. You'll see them start to pull back. Yeah, they got rank. Yeah, they soldiers. Yeah, they officers. But all of a sudden, they're never available. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, okay, you sick. But 7 weeks, you sick? 8 weeks in a row, you sick? 2 months go by, you sick? Oh, my car broke down. Yeah, but you ain't did nothing in terms of works in 2 months. What you mean? Oh, I got to travel. Yeah, but you're not even going to the school in the city that you're traveling to. We got schools in pretty much every state here in Babylon. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 48, verse 10. This spirit, they'll just sit back and watch everybody else do the work. They'll sit back and watch everybody else. Jeremiah 48 and 10.
Jeremiah chapter 48 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully.
Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully. You might go to a flyer mission. You might go to a community cleanup, but you're not doing it in sincerity because you love the Lord and you love your people. Oh, well, I got to save face because I don't want them to think I don't want them to have, look at me no type of way. I know I'm finna leave in a month. I know I'm finna bug out in a week because I'm disgruntled, because I got all this unforgiveness. I know the Day of Atonement is past, but I know I'm still feeling some type of way because of how sister such and such talked to me, because how officer such and such talked to me, because he corrected me, and I still ain't forgave him. I still ain't forgave her. How dare she? How dare he? So you're doing the work of the Lord deceitfully. You don't really believe. You're doing it because you think this is a hangout spot. You ain't got nothing else to do on a Saturday. Because you don't want to look bad. You don't want to look like you gave up or whatever. But you know your spirit is not with us, which is why you start to pull back. Go ahead.
And cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood.
Cursed be he that pulls back. He'll look at everybody else go to war. I gotta sneeze, so I can't go to camp. Yeah, but 6 weeks in a row you done had the same sneeze. You should go to the doctor. You might want to see a surgeon or something. Maybe they need to pull something out your face. But you telling me a month and a half, 2 months in a row, all of a sudden, oh, I'm sick every week, bro. These is allergies. The hell? You supposed to be in the fight. So that is the passive stage. Get Sirach 37, verse 7. This is the passive stage. Sirach chapter 37, you're going to read verse 7 through 9.
Sirach chapter 37 and verse 7. Every counselor extolleth counsel, but there is some that counseleth for himself.
There's some that counsels for themselves. Go ahead.
Beware of a counselor, and know before what need he hath. For he will counsel for himself, lest he cast the lot upon thee.
Lest he cast the lot upon you. So beware of the brother that you counsel with. He may be the number 2 or the number 3, and you're counseling with him on matters of war. This brother already got 1 foot out the door, but you counseling with him on how to fix things in the body. Rather than him giving you an answer, or rather than him, yo, let's go through the scriptures. Yo, let's ask leadership. You know what he'll say? Oh, you got it. Oh, you got it. Yeah, whatever you decide, you got it. That's how you know that brother, he is now in the passive stage of disloyalty. He's in the passive stage of betrayal. He's in the passive stage. Now he has that passive traitorous trait. Yeah, you got it. Whatever you decide. Rather than, yo, let's go through the scriptures, let's ask leadership, or whatever the case is. Go ahead.
And say unto thee, thy way is good.
So he'll say to you, yo, whatever you decide to do, yeah, it's good. It's all good. It might be a dumb thought that you're thinking, but because he's already in the passive stage, he's just going to let you run with the dumb thought. Go ahead.
And afterward he stand on the other side.
And then he'll sit back and look at you. Go ahead.
To see what shall befall thee.
And he's going to see if you fall. That way he can say, oh, no, that was all him. That was all Officer such and such. That was his decision. But he ain't going to say, yo, I counsel with you. I asked you what you thought. You didn't say it was a dumb thought, or we should go left or we should go right. You sat back and said, yo, whatever you decide, you figure it out. That's the passive stage. Last stage, the criticism stage. This brother or sister has an evil eye for everyone and finds fault in everyone and criticizes everyone but themselves. They got a problem with everybody and what everybody else is doing. Especially leadership. They always got a problem with what leadership is doing. Now, this is not where you have certain things that may be legitimate issues. The problem comes in is when you don't go through the proper channels, you don't do everything decently and in order, and all you do is murmur and complain. All you do is go to another brother or another sister with all your complaints. You know how you know that this criticism stage is a traitorous trait? Is because you're murmuring. It's not to benefit or better the body. You'll never go to anybody that can actually fix your issue, but you sure know how to complain. You sure know who to go to when you want to murmur, when you want to complain, when you want to backbite, when you want to gossip. You know who to go to then, but you don't know who to go to in order to better the body. Yo, let me go to my leadership because I'm seeing this might be an issue, but let me see if I'm bugging. Or, yo, I think I see this could probably be better. Yo, let me go to leadership and see what they think. Let me go to whoever's over me. Let me see what they think. Nah, you ain't going to do that because you're in the criticism stage. Matthew chapter 7, verse 3. This is the last trait. Matthew chapter 7, verse 3.
Matthew chapter 7, verse 3. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye?
So you see all the issues, all the character flaws in your brother,
but considerest not the beam that is in thy own eye.
But you don't consider the massive hematoma that are the character flaws within yourself. Come on.
Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye?
You know how to fix everybody else. Leadership should do this. Yeah, leadership should do that. So you know how to fix everybody else. Go ahead.
And behold, a beam is in thy own eye.
But you don't know how to fix yourself. You don't know how to apply that same quote unquote wisdom to your own character flaws, to your life. Go ahead.
Thou hypocrite.
You a hypocrite. Christ said you're a hypocrite. Go ahead.
First cast out the beam out of thy own eye.
Cast out the beam out of your own eye, the sin, the character flaws in your own eye.
And then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye.
Then you'll be able to, in sincerity and in truth, be able to correct, admonish, exhort your brother or your sister or whatever the issue is. But when you don't do it in sincerity, when you don't do it in truth, when you don't do it out of charity, when you don't do it out of brotherly love, guess what? You're doing it in hypocrisy. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 11. Because guess what? Paul dealt with the same thing, and we'll end it on this. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 11. Actually, read chapter 10, verse 1. You're going to read 1 and 2. Last two scriptures.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 1. Now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Christ, who in presence am base among you.
When I'm physically there with you, I'm base among you.
But being absent am bold toward you.
But when I'm absent, my letters are weighty and heavy. I'm correcting and rebuking with all authority. But when I'm with you, physically in the flesh, yeah, I might look weak. Go ahead.
But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh.
Why? Because these leaders in Corinth, what were they doing? They were criticizing. They said, yo, Paul walking in the flesh. Paul walking according to the flesh. Paul got all these issues. They had all these criticisms for Paul. Jump to verse 10.
Verse 10. For his letters,
but Paul's letters,
say they, are weighty and powerful.
They say, yo, he be in the spirit with his letters. Go ahead.
But his bodily presence is weak.
But they criticizing his physical appearance. Because those that are in the criticism stage, you can't do nothing right. Everything is a criticism. You can't do nothing right for those that are in this stage, the criticism stage. Go ahead.
And his speech contemptible.
And his speech contemptible. Last scripture, 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 11. Guess what? Paul dealt with the same critical spirits, those overly critical spirits, those hypocrites. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 11.
2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 11. I am becoming full in glorying. Ye have compelled me.
So you have forced me to give you my resume. Go ahead.
For I ought to have been commended of you.
I should have been commended of you.
For in nothing am I behind the very chiefest apostles.
I'm not behind none of the apostles. In understanding, I dealt with Christ directly. I saw things that I can't even speak of. I'm not behind none of the apostles when it comes to understanding. But in order, I understand my place. Go ahead.
Though I be nothing, truly the signs of an apostle.
No. That's all I wanted. Though I be nothing. So he said, I'm nothing, but I ain't behind none of the chiefest of apostles. But these leaders in Corinth, they always had something to say. They was always murmuring. They always had a criticism for Paul. Oh, you weak in the flesh. You weak. You weak. Look at your speech. Listen to your speech, how you talk. But his letters were weighty and powerful. So, brothers and sisters, these are the 4 stages of disloyalty. If you have any of these character flaws within your spirit, you got to pray to the Lord. You got to fast that you can overcome that spirit. You got to examine yourself. If these are the character flaws that you have, if there are unresolved issues that you got, just fix it. If you really believe wisdom is justified of her children, you're going to fix the issues. If not, and you're a reprobate, it's inevitable that you will get caught up and that root of bitterness will overtake you. You'll walk out the door. And guess what? We ain't going to cry. The train going to keep moving. You just going to get rolled over. It is what it is. All right? So I pray you brothers and sisters receive something from that. Again, this is Captain Lemuel. This has been 15 minutes with the captains. We say shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. nation